Hi, and welcome back to Lovely Lady's Kitchen. Thank you for continuing to watch this show. Thank you for all your subscriptions and for sharing with all of your friends. Continue to do that. I love all of your support. I love your comments, and I do read them. All right, so let's get started. First, just to kind of show you, Brussels sprouts actually grow on a stalk. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to peel them right off the stalk here. Or you can take a knife and kind of like shave down them, but it's just so much easier if you just break them right off. So that's all we're going to do with these. As you guys asked for, you want some products. I have the Lovely Ladies Kitchen mug. I have the Lovely Ladies Kitchen t-shirts. Soon I'm going to have the Lovely Ladies Kitchen cap, and I'm going to have the Lovely Ladies Kitchen apron. But for now I have the mug and the t-shirts, and it has a QR code on the back. So now that we have them all off the stalk, what I do with my Brussels sprouts is I like to cut off the ugly stuff and discard that. And then I like to cut mine in half, put them in a bowl like that. I cut off the what I don't want, cut them in half. And when you cut them in half, it makes them easier to makes it easier for them to soak up the flavor that you put in them. So I'm going to be cooking these in some butter. Welcome back, butter. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these cut up and into my bowl here. Then I'm going to wash them and move on to the next prep step. Just chop up the vegetables for our bean soup. So the vegetables for our bean soup are going to be really simple. It's just onion, garlic, celery, and bell pepper. If you like, you can put some carrots in there. I know some people who are allergic to carrots. So instead of carrots, I use orange bell pepper because I like the color of orange, and I also want the bell pepper in there. And so this also has the vitamin C and the omegas that the carrots would have. So I use this instead so that we can still get that beautiful pop of orange while preventing our relatives from having allergy attacks. I know it's kind of weird to have people around me with all these food allergies, right? But there's a lot of people who have food allergies, and so I can show you what to do to substitute. Just because you're allergic to a carrot doesn't mean you can't have an orange bell pepper. So we're just going to go ahead and cut these into the little boat shapes that I like to do all the time. And then after we do that, we're going to cut across them and dice them right on up, okay? Some people like to puree their bean soup all the way. I don't. I like to puree some of it and leave the rest whole. So if you're following me on Facebook, you will see that in that recipe there, it calls for pureeing about 2 cups of the bean soup. So we'll do about 1.5 cups puree. I'm chopping up these vegetables here. Now, sometimes we forget to soak our beans overnight. Or if you're like me and you're working all the time, have a regular 9 to 5 plus children and whatever else you got going on, sometimes we forget to soak our beans. And so since I have family coming over and everybody knows that I'm making bean soup, I still have to make my bean soup. So what I'm going to show you how to do today is I'm going to show you what's called a quick soak. Because I don't use canned beans, I use fresh beans, dry beans, and so I'm going to show you how to do what's called a quick soak, and it's really easy to do. Okay? But the best thing to do, if you can let them soak overnight, that's better for you, for your digestive system. Also, I've even soaked my beans for like 30 hours and let them begin to sprout. And you have a lot more life in the beans when you do that. And I for one feel the life. I feel the difference. My favorite, whacking some garlic. And some bean soup recipes only call for 4 of the cloves, which is 1 piece of the garlic like this. I do 1 whole bowl, so I smash it all up. That's how I do it. I smash it all up. Just simply because the more garlic in your food, the more nutritious it is. And sometimes garlic can be overpowering, but putting a whole bowl of garlic down into a pot of soup where there's going to be a lot of water, it's not going to hurt you. So you guys already know how to smash and whack garlic, right? From watching the other episodes. So I'm just going to smash up the rest of this garlic and quickly mince it and start on the onions, get those all diced up the same way I normally dice my onions. And then with the celery, I'm going to slice it long ways and then dice it across. Same steps that I've used before.
So I have been taking some of your advice. A lot of you have been asking me for aprons and t-shirts and things like that. So I have the t-shirts and the coffee mug. Okay? So email me at lovelyladieskitchen, all one word, @gmail.com, or you can contact me at facebook.com/lovelyladieskitchen. Apron's still coming, and yeah, so thank you.
So now that we have all the vegetables all cut up for our bean soup, now we're going to get the vegetables cut up for our dirty rice, which is going to be the same: onions, garlic, bell pepper, and celery. Alright? So I'm going to put about 1 pound of beans into my pan on my pot. And then I'm going to wash them and rinse them until the water runs clear. Once the water runs clear, your beans are all nice and clean. Then I'm going to fill the pot up to about this much water and then let it boil and boil and boil and boil and boil and boil until it's completely soft, and that's what you have. Okay, so now we have this on high heat. We're going to get it to boiling. We're not going to add anything to our beans at this time. All we want is just water and beans boil until completely tender. Okay, so I just washed my little baby hens here. So they're all nice and clean. And I have a little bit of water down at the bottom of them. And what I'm going to season with, you know it, sea salt. And I'm just going to sprinkle all of the seasonings just kind of everywhere. And then I'm going to massage it all in Yes, I know. Some of you know that I am a massage therapist, and so yes, the hand gets a wonderful feeling of the great sister Ryan's hands here. So I'm just gonna sprinkle all this wonderful sweet basil. I love sweet basil. Sprinkle it. So I'm gonna rub it all on the inside. So I just want to get all of my seasonings down into the pan. That looks like a lot, but honey, you have a whole baby hand to cover, and we have two. So that should be good now. And I'm gonna put a little turmeric on there. I'm using my 4th teaspoon measure again. And I think a 1/4 of a teaspoon should be good. Turmeric kind of goes a long way. 1/4 plus an 1/8. That should be enough. Okay. Then we have, remember that poultry seasoning that we made back on the jambalaya? When we made the jambalaya, I showed you how to make poultry seasoning. So that's what this is, that poultry seasoning. And I like to make a bunch of it so I don't have to keep making it every time I want to use it. So I'm going to put some poultry seasoning because it's the holidays, and you know, good herbs, good poultry seasoning. You need a lot. And I'm not filling the spoon up, I'm just kind of like scooping it and sprinkling it on. I'm not filling up my spoon, I'm just kind of scooping it and sprinkling it on. You know, I think that's good. It smells good. And then of course, where would life be without some cayenne pepper? I'm telling you, this stuff is good and it's good for you. And again, I'm not filling up my spoon. I just did about a half. And I think I'm gonna do another half, so then it's gonna be 1/4 teaspoon of the cayenne pepper because I don't want it to be spicy. I just want it to be good. Then I have a lemon from my backyard. That on here with a little strainer here. Oh, I love the lemons that come out of my backyard. They're always so juicy. And I hear those beans boiling back there. Once the beans are done boiling, getting the vegetables down into the soup is going to be good. It's going to be really easy because we're just going to saute the vegetables. And then cook them until they're tender, and then add them to the beans. So that's not going to be a problem at all. We just need those beans to be nice and soft. Okay? Now we have a little bit of acid. Now we're going to add a little olive oil so that it can have some moisture to help it hold the flavors in. My little cap wants to come all the way off. Alright. A couple tablespoons of that. Alright. Now for the massage. You just rub all underneath the wings and rub the back, flip it over, get it on the breast, in between those legs, and make sure you rub some on the inside. And a lot of people like to stuff their chickens or their hens. You don't have to do that. You can separate the skin from the meat a little bit here where the breast is. Scoop some of that flavor up from down the bottom of your pan. See, when you do this, this, you don't have to keep going back to the seasoning because you got it all inside your pan here. Okay, one hand massaged, the next hand massage. I know this hand is like, thank you, it feels so good. Alright, and you massage the meat and it's just going to make it taste so much better. Get some of that flavor down underneath there. I like using my hands. It just gets you up close and personal with your food. Feels so nice. Yes, we got lots of juice down here. Scoop some of this up. And so I'm going to cook this breast side down. Most people like to cook it breast side up with the legs tied up like this. And you're welcome to do that if that's what you like. I am going to put it breast side down and let it cook that way so that all the good juices from the juicy tender side of the chicken will get all down onto the breast. Okay, now you can do this with your hands or you can brush with the brush. I like to do it with my hands. It just feels so good. Get in there and touch it. When you touch your food, it just, you get all your energy on it. And this is gonna be, oh, this is gonna be good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cook these at 400 degrees in the oven, just so they can get nice and brown. And then I'm gonna cover it with some foil paper and then turn the heat down to about 350 degrees and let it cook all the way through. And then I'm gonna put it in the warmer on warm so that it stays warm while I'm finishing up everything else. Okay, so we have our Brussels sprouts, and what we're gonna do with our Brussels sprouts is we're going to cook them in the oven in some butter. So I'm just gonna cut up a few chunks of butter and put them down at the bottom. And we have our Brussels sprouts chopped up and washed. Put some in here. Then I'm going to cut up a little bit of red onion. I'm going to kind of layer this a little bit. Reserve for another time. Just gonna need this half, and do some nice big chunks like that. Just make it nice and colorful and festive, so you still have the green and purple going here. We have our red onions, which are purple, but they call them red onions, and we have our Brussels sprouts, which are green, so it's still very nice and festive with the purple and the green. Sprinkle a few of those in there. Okay. And we're going to layer this. do 2 pans if if this is enough for you. Remember, I said it's just gonna be me and my mom and my son, so we don't need much. But I'm gonna fill this pan up here, this dish up with everything. Okay, then second layer, some butter. Making life easy for myself and sticking this in the oven. Let the oven do all the work today, yeah? Okay. Now, some Brussels sprouts. Fit as many in here as I can. We're gonna have leftovers and a little bit extra just in case some people decide to pop up at my house knowing that I'm cooking today. A few extra for them. Okay. Red onion. See how simple this is? Not complex at all. Red onion. And I'm breaking it up just so that it can spread around evenly. Can I control the presentation? Presentation is everything, right? Okay. And sea salt. And this layer. Cayenne pepper. And some basil. And yes, we're layering this. So we're going to top this off with some butter. Okay? We want the top part to get some buttery love too. Okay. Cover. Top oven, 400 degrees. Just to get it started. And then later on we'll turn it down to about 300 degrees and let it cook all the way through. Today is about everything being cooked nice and slow, right? So the flavors can marinate and it can taste like it's been cooked all day, but really, I didn't. All right, so now we got everything all cleaned up and we're gonna move on to our dirty rice. All right, so this is gonna be so easy. I'm gonna do it really quick. Just try to follow along as best you can. So, on high heat or medium high heat, warm your pan up. Put some olive oil down in there. Okay. Sea salt. Cayenne pepper. seasoning. I kind of like to do everything to taste, you know? Not everybody likes things the same way as other people. Alright, get that going. Look at that brown one. Okay. Here's our onions and celery and bell pepper mixture from earlier. Let that start to get a bit aromatic. When you smell it, then your oil is well seasoned. I think I need to add a little bit more oil. I put a couple tablespoons. I'm going to add a couple tablespoons more just because it kind of soaked it up. I'm going to add the cooked rice. The cooked rice is going to need a little bit of oil. It's real simple. You just find the opening to the casing and then you just start pulling it on out of there. You can always start with cooking your meat first and then add your veggies. I kind of like to put the veggies in first just because it seasons the oil. And instead of using ground onions or powdered onions and powdered garlic and powdered all that, I like to use fresh. I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to kind of mix that in there and kind of break it up some. Because I don't want any chunks of meat. I just want it kind of dispersed in between the veggies. Okay. And once that meat is cooked all the way through, when you break it down, it's easier for it to cook all the way through. It does it a whole lot faster. I have some rice that I already pre-cooked. And so I'm going to add that rice into here. I want to add a little bit more poultry seasoning. And I'm going to put a little bit of turmeric in here. A fourth of a teaspoon. So I'm going to grab my cooked rice. I'm just going to pour it on in here. Yes, I love using my hands. I like to touch my food. You ever wonder what to do with leftover rice? Make dirty rice. See, this is a very simple rice dish, yeah? So many different things you can do with rice. I mean, you could do casserole, you could do dirty rice, you could do jambalaya. You can do so many things, so many different ways. You can do fried rice, you can do rice cakes. And rice is just a wonderful go-to staple to have in your house. Rice and beans. You can do a lot of things with beans too. Okay? So now we have this all mixed together. I'll let you get a close look at this. See? Now it looks kind of brownish, yeah? So that's what you want. The rice is already cooked, so all you have to do is let it warm through. Let it stay warm while it cooks through. Some good rice. Nice and flavorful. This is going to be so good. And then when you're ready to stick that in the oven, you can just put it in the warmer and it'll be good to go. because it's pretty much done. Now we're just gonna keep it warm while everything else is going and let the oven kind of cool down a little bit. Anything else that you need to put on warm, it's the perfect time to put it in there. We talked about our rice, we're gonna get that in there too. So while this is going in on warm, perfect time to get our dirty rice in so it can stay warm too. Now it's time to check on our Brussels sprout. Oh, they look good, they smell good. We've already kind of tossed them a little bit earlier, just so that the parts on the top can get in the bottom and the parts on the bottom can get on the top, so everybody gets a chance to dance in the juice. And so, I'm just going to give this a little toss. Oh, these are so tender. This is how you know it's done. Okay, so now I'm just going to take this, put that on warm. Okay. Finish tossing these a little bit, just so that everybody gets a good split. Have that here. So now that we have all those parts done, now we have to get to work on finishing our bean soup. Let's check those out, those beans out. When you can smash your beans with hardly any force, then they're perfect. And we're going to do this quick. So nice and high, whole stick of butter. Feel free to break that butter down so it can melt fast. Now we don't want our butter to burn, so we're going to get that butter seasoned now while it's melting down. So we can use a lot of salt because we want enough to be able to season the beans. Okay, and the water. Do a little bit more if you like a little bit more. Okay, so we got our turmeric in there, and then I'm going to do about a teaspoon of the basil. Okay, here the butter's starting to cook now. The butter is nice and oiled. So we're going to get our onions and garlic in here first. And then our celery and bell peppers. Vegetables are nice and tender. Good. so beautiful. Okay, so now that the flavors in this pot have kind of married together, I'm going to start to smash some of these beans. For those of you who don't have an immersion blender or a regular blender for that case, for those people who don't have either one, I have these 2 big wooden spoons, and I'm going to scoop the beans on top of the back of this one and smash it like this. So now that we have those flavors all married together, we're just going to let them simmer while I'm waiting for everyone to get here. My mom is bringing deviled eggs and some rolls and some cranberry sauce. My son brought me some pie. That's so sweet of him. And my pastor actually came and he brought some mint chocolate chip ice cream. So our meal is just going to be so wonderful. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time on Lovely Lady's Kitchen.
Enjoy your food, enjoy your family. Happy holidays on Lovely Lady's Kitchen.